The bridges strike back. Holybridge 3 Secret World has not yet bested me with bridges, but instead has to resort to dirty tactics, going as far as to even sabotage my recordings. You see, I just played 2 levels of the Secret World, got them under half budgets, went back to look at the recordings, and found that the mic quality sounded like garbage. So what I'm gonna do is actually go through these levels and just outline the thought process that I went through that I took to solve them, and it'll be kind of an abridged version of the solve. So let's take a look at what's going on here. We got a dump truck that starts by going to the stop sign, then there's a hydraulic phase, and then this C car has to go under the dump truck to the star and then back up to its flag without stopping. Then a hydraulic phase, then the truck gets to keep going. So the first thing I did was just build a pretty normal bridge, because I wanted to see if left to its own devices, it would even hold. And the point isn't making a good bridge. The point is seeing that if the dump truck stops in the middle, where exactly will this monster flipper end up? Which roads do I have to move? Well, as you can see, it bumps into the back of the dump truck. Huh? No good. So what I decided to do was build 2 foundations, one to support the left side, one to support the right side of the bridge. And that way I could have a dangling section in the middle hoisted by hydraulics. So when the dump truck stops in the middle, the hydraulics would lift the truck up, creating space for the C car to make it under to its flag. No, sorry, to its star. And I noticed it just barely clipped its star and happened to land right on top the rightmost foundation. So from the rightmost foundation, I made a smooth, curvy road up to launch it up to its flag. However, there's still a main bridge road in the way, so a small hydraulic could just get that out of the way. If it's vertical, it's good. And then it would rocket up and land on one wheel to the C flag. And that worked, but it was expensive, so I got to shaving. And eventually I realized that this middle hydraulic is just a really expensive idea, not to mention the leftmost foundation. So I got rid of the left side foundation and instead just made an arched road. It is a very sturdy support, and so everything was going to the steel muscle hoisted by the one foundation. I had to change which roads would be lifted to accommodate for the C car, which was 3, and they could be hoisted by hydraulic quite easily. And then we got a pretty sturdy bridge with much cheaper amount of hydraulics, a much bigger gap, and no real issue launching up making to the flag, kind of flipping over in the process. Under half budget, but I saw there was another shave I could make. I figured I don't actually need this hydraulic because I can instead just drop the road off into the void. Goodbye, road. It's not needed. It holds all the same and is a lot cheaper. Get me 101st on the leaderboard. No. I don't think so. Let's just try removing a wood, see what happens. I don't expect it to be bad, but you never know. Oh, good. Top 100, just what I wanted. Top bridges on the gallery has some crazy node spam cheese, but some cool mechanics like the knocking down the monster flipper to blow to kill its speed, and then somehow being able to hold. I mean, this bridge is wiggly. Other cheap bridges were just basically cheaper versions of my bridge. The next bridge I'm glad I don't have to show the thought process of because it's honestly pretty cheesy. You can only build inside this box in the middle, but the car has to hit a checkpoint that's outside the box. So you gotta build a bridge that like sags or drops down below in some way, and this lends itself really well to just a really simple cheese. I don't really need to explain the thought behind this because there's not much, although there is one thing I thought. If it's just like a flat line of roads with springs in between, it sags too low and the car can't make it up. So this right side sort of spring dangles to help just make sure the road is strong enough and not that steep, so eventually at 5 times speed it can make it up. Feels like it takes centuries though. Top 100 again, pretty happy. Shout out to this bridge that is definitely the cheapest bridge that is a bridge. Well done. Okay, time to bridge build for real. I've got, 7 roads locked in place. I can't add more roads. And actually, what? So you're telling me a car makes it to its flag, then there's a hydraulic phase for C to get to the turnaround, and then there's another hydraulic phase to get C up here? No, there's 2 hydraulic phases for that. Wait, that seems really tough. Oh no. Distance here is 13.33 meters. If it's horizontal, it goes about this far. Oh, so I know both of these will have to be split joints. I could go for a foundation. This level terrifies me. It works best if it clicks at the end. How about I start with the basics? The bridges themselves don't need to hold that much. I bet I could actually go for a wood truss. Heaviest one is 5 polygrams. And you know what? Let's just make sure this holds. Oh no. Big tall truss. If it can hold this, it can hold anything. All right, perfect. That's pretty cheap. Goodbye. So during the B hydraulic controller phase, I'm gonna probably just pivot around the anchor on the left. And I want to just think about something right now. If I were to just simply attach it to the end, where about would the roads be? Like here? I mean, think about it, right? Bridge has to start where you can see it. Then it would pivot down to about here. And then it would pivot backwards about the same amount and move up into the left. Or maybe it could just stay flat and move up this far. I don't know, that's pretty intense as well. I had a weird idea where one of these woods was actually replaced by an expanding hydraulic. And then, like, let's just attach this to a foundation as an example. Because it's gonna flex in an interesting way. Like that. Which unfortunately isn't enough. More. Okay, at least it hits the turnaround now. The question is, can it actually hold the golf carts? Because I imagine there's some nasty tension. I mean, it held it. The next thing I want to check is this. I don't know where this split joint will actually go by the time it makes it to the bottom, but when it does go, I want it to click. I think I got it to click here, and this is a very inefficient way of making it click. But I wanted to try something. Drowning them. But actually, during the first hydraulic phase of D, what would happen if I locked in these split joints, but finally detached the left side one and brought the hydraulic back? We got the click, makes it over, and then this gets lifted up and then drops. But like, it's a better shape that maybe could be hoisted that way. And there's a lot of ways I could hoist it. What if instead of a rope here, I actually had like 2 hydraulics? And these hydraulics would only go during the final phase. Not my finest work. Really quickly, I just want to see exactly where the leftmost split joint ends up. Right there. Okay. So what I'm seeing is that in the final phase, the bridge is again needs to cover this distance. A length of almost 5 meters. So the best way to do this is probably swinging it from underneath. Just got to make sure the steel at the start is equivalent to the steel at the end. It's about the same in cost, so about the same in length. This here's an anchor point. Slap that down, make sure it's not going anywhere. However, if I'm more easily going to make it swing up, I should definitely engineer the engine. This little piece will have to rotate in the same amount as the big piece, landing it here, giving me a hydraulic about this far contracting. Expanding would work too, and that actually might work a lot better. It's just expanding hydraulics are generally a bit more expensive, but no matter, that looks like it'll work out. Now, of course, this hydraulic will never go until E. The other thing I need is then to do this engine again. Perhaps about here, without the hydraulic, and honestly, it could just be a single long steel piece here. Because all I need to do is anchor down the bottom point, and then attach the two with like a long cable to make sure they're in sync. And then they will move together, but they've got to click with something, and I guess I'll just have it be one of these roads. It has to click. Okay, it did click. Arrive, rise up. Oh, it didn't click here. Well, that's awkward. I think we'd be better off here if it was a pulling hydraulic. Those things are just kind of easier to anchor down, and then I can also do a similarly pulling hydraulic if I just kind of copy paste the muscle or the engines like here. I'm hoping that by adding a second hydraulic, I can generate a bit more strength to the bridge. I mean, if they're both the same hydraulic, I shouldn't have to tie them together with steel or with cable, but we'll see. No, it still shreds itself. Okay, I don't think I like this bridge design anymore. I need a new plan. It'd be nice if I could actually get this to work with maybe like a cheaper kind of rope dangle. I was thinking maybe having like a separate wood support here. I don't know if it'll move around. So here it clicks. Does it still hold even when the other phase happens? It does. So pausing it right here, I basically want this whole bridge to just shift up and to the left. Like if you could take this foundation and just pull it that way. Now, obviously you can't pull a foundation, but I guess you could find a workaround. Like I was thinking, what if instead of the foundation, I had like a steel support? I'll just make it like a steel muscle to substitute for the strength of the foundation. And if it's braced like this, it should hold. But I want to pull in, so I almost want this rope or cable here to be hydraulics. 2 of them, because 1 doesn't reach. Then I gotta actually lock the steel muscles together. Then we have something kind of interesting. These hydraulics should obviously not go during B, nor should they go during D, but they should definitely go during E at the end when it pulls. Oh, but that does change the stability of it all. I see. Okay, it still clicks after a little adjustment, but then it moves up, and then it just falls. Probably because the right side should still stay anchored. So what if just one of these ropes stayed attached to the bridge? And if it was just one, it'd probably be this one, because it's more rigidly held in, and it could kind of swing up. So in order for that to happen, I think I need to enable 3-way split joints. And if these are 2s, I would need to be one to have 1 and 1 to have 3. So during the B phase, they wouldn't detach. During the D phase, they wouldn't detach. During the E phase, we would have 1 and 2 stick together and 3 be separate. So I would want that. Does that work any better? Well, it still clicks and is shuffling around a bit, but how about now? Okay, it buckles. Absolutely shreds itself. Let's try to buff that up a bit more. Oh, there it goes. Very quickly, but very interestingly. That's the movement I want. So what's the issue here? Is it going too far? Because you can see this node is almost hitting the joint. Yeah, it's going too far. So maybe let's change this hydraulic stuff down here. What if I had like a cable instead and didn't pull as far? It's certainly cheaper, but probably also doesn't pull as far. It's close. I bet I could change something here. If this wood were a hydraulic that contracted, probably don't need to contract that much. I could just tilt this part of the bridge up to click, but it can't go during B, nor can it go during D, only E. And it might take a bit of tweaking, but we got an interesting idea on our hands. Look at that, it's so close, it could click. It might not need to click. Oh, it needs to click. You know what I wanna do? Shorter hydraulic. Save a little money that way. Oh, it clicked. Does it still work? Ooh, that's a beautiful design. 24,000. Not even that stressed. Top 17%. Love it. Why do I want to shave it? I didn't put too much effort into it. Just shave some wood. Just wanted to see this in full glory. No stress indicators. We'll see how people did this for half the price. 10,000. This is the top one. Where's the bridge? I see the hydraulics that bring it down, but like, how does it get up? Oh, it flips it. It's a pancake. Oh, and it shatters. It must shatter right after it hits the flag because it's technically non-breaking. Non-breaking my ass. Oh, and that's what everyone who did it for cheap did. It seems to be the cheapest one that isn't that, which, wow, that is one hell of a mechanism. I cannot believe that reaches. The wooden toothpick on the bottom. No steel necessary. Fair play. Are you guys ready for the final level of the Secret World? Because that is coming up next time. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Wish me luck in this terrifying boss. I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a wonderful day and peace.